Hey ladies, this is Trisha and I'm coming today with a fun layout idea. Look how fun this layout is with the diagonal pattern in the background. I thought how fun would this be to do as a layout challenge. This idea originally came from the August to July 2023 Core Products catalog. I'm going to show this to you right now. So this was featured on page 19, and as you can see, a Christmas layout. And I really love copying products or ideas from these catalogs. And as you can see, super fun. So why don't we try to recreate this from the catalog book? And we'll do it with our Cape Cod papers that I gave you during the crop. So get us out your Cape Cod paper pack that I gave you. Obviously, living in Florida, we're going to have so much fun with this paper pack. And so if we bust this out, first off, you got your sticker sheet. So much fun. Beach Babe, Sun and Sea, Life's a Beach, all the perfect things for us here in Florida. And then, of course, you got 3 different kinds of papers, and they're double-sided. Got your stripes and your anchors and your driftwood looking paper and some palm fronds, and then the words. It says here comes the waves, happiness, and then all the little icons from the beach. And then of course all the cool zip strips at the top. So we are going to have so much fun with this paper. So let's get all that ready. And then, of course, I went ahead and all of our Close to My Heart paper packs also have a digital component that you can throw into your Cricut or Silhouette and have fun with. But instead, I had fun with it on my laser machine with some wood, and I made these really cool embellishments for you. And so you cannot purchase these from Close to My Heart. You can utilize the digital component and do something like this, like I did for you. So these were little happies that I had on your table at our retreat. So there you go, little fun personalized embellishments for you, all from our digital collection. So we're going to utilize this on our layout today. So there's 2 different ways that we can make this layout. So we're going to utilize our Versamat and our scalpel. And I'm going to show you how to do this without a Cricut at first. And then I'll show you how to do it with a Cricut. So the Versamat, a lot of people don't realize it is self-healing. So we're going to cut it right on our Versamat. So get a 12 by 12 piece of paper. I would suggest white daisy or pure white. And I'm going to show you how to do this by hand, not on a Cricut at first. So get your 12 by 12 piece of paper and your cutter. As you can see, it is a 12 by 12 piece of paper is very hard to cut end to end on a cutting machine on your cutter. So we're going to use our scalpel at first. And I just realized we are actually going to need to cut this to make it work. We're going to need to cut this to be 11 by 11. So let's get this all ready here. Go ahead and put it in your cutter and make it be 11 by 11. So you need to cut 1 inch off of this. So place it in your cutter and cut 1 inch off. So your piece should be 11 and then by 11. And that will make it the size we need it. Then you can go ahead and put your cutter to the side, and you want to place it down in your left-hand corner of your Versamat. There we go. And it might actually help you to place a little bit of adhesive on the back. I put some just in the middle. You might want to put some in the corners as well. but that'll help it adhere, and you could always take it off with some rubber, your rubber erase remover. Okay, so you're going to need a very large ruler. I have our new T-square ruler, and you can see that it fits really nicely on this big piece, but you can remove the excess because it's connected by a magnet. As you can see, it's pretty much the size of our 11 by 11, just a little bit extra, but it's pretty much the size we need, so that works really good. If you have a big ruler like this, it will help you with this. So in order to make this work, we are going to make some cuts from the one corner to the one corner. So we're going to cut from 6 to 6. So you want to take your ruler and put it from the 6 mark to the 6 mark on the Versamark. So make sure it's from the 6 to the 6 on the Versamark, not on your paper. Be very careful that you're actually putting it from on the Versamat, not on your paper as you're cutting. Oops, we'll put that back where it belongs. So you want a little bit of a heavy hand, and it's okay. So we're going to do every 3 inches from this point on. So from the 3 up to the 9, and make sure it's on your Versamark mat, not on the paper. A little bit of a heavy hand as you're cutting. Once again, don't worry about your Versamat, it is self-healing. Now this next cut, once again, 3 more inches, is going to be from the 0 to the 12. And I don't quite make it all the way, so I'm going to use my extra part of my T-square ruler to line myself up. There is a line on the mat here, so that does help me here. So I'm going to line myself up and hold it with my hand, and I'm going to go up, add a corner all the way up, and then as I need to, I can scooch my ruler up. This is the one that's not quite all the way because the ruler is not quite reaches, but I can line myself up really good. It works really good. So what I'm pretty much doing is I'm making my template. And then my next 3 inches more is going to be from the 3 to the 9, just like I did before. 3 to the 9. Once again, slightly heavy hand on this so I can get all the way through the paper. And then my last cut will be from the 6 to the 6 on the Versamat. 6 to the 6. And there we go. So that looks like we did a perfect job, doesn't it? I thought so too. And then I took all the pieces apart and I was like, okay, so I'm going to put it on my Versamat and I'm going to make sure that I got a 1/4 inch all the way around. I'm going to start laying it out. And as I started laying it out with a 1/4 inch between all of my pieces, I'm laying it out, and I think you're going to start seeing what I started seeing. And I'm like, wait a second. Why aren't my pieces lining up? They're all lining up on the left side, but my top right side, they're definitely not lining up. Why is that? As you can see, what the heck, man. Definitely need to split it in the middle somehow to make the other side work. So we're just going to take our scissors here, and we're going to fix this. And once we're done, it's going to be okay. I know it's a little odd way to fix this, but when we put all of our items in the middle of the layout, you'll never know. You know that little saying, well, how are they going to know? They're never going to know, I promise. So as you see, if we make a little split in the middle, all of our hard work will show on either end, but you'll never see it in the middle, I promise. So just take your scissors and split those 3 in the middle, and you can shimmy them up to where they need to be, and all of our hard work will never be, you'll never see the problems. The 4th one you don't need to split, and then this bottom one you actually just need to cut a little bit off the top, like a 1/4 inch. So take your trimmer off and shove it in your trimmer here, that long edge, and then scooch it up a quarter inch. Oops. Yeah. So just a quarter inch here. Geez, this trimmer's being a pain. Okay. There we go. Just a quarter inch. There we go, of the long end. Just a quarter inch. And then you'll see that it will fit in there perfectly. So just split the top, those three in the middle, the one you leave alone, and then the bottom corner, you just take that quarter inch off. Okay, and there you go. It is perfect, ready to go. And you can use this as your template for whatever papers you want to use. Or I do have a scrapbook layout for your Cricut, and I will leave the link. So I went ahead and took my Cape Cod papers, I threw it in my Cricut using that link, and I went ahead and cut all my Cape Cod papers, and they are ready to go, and this is what they look like. I did go ahead and use my toffee ink, and I distressed the edges a little bit to give it a rough look. So it kind of looked distressed a little bit. So you'll see as I'm gluing all these down, my papers are ready to go. I'm just making sure that as I'm gluing them, I'm giving them just a little bit of a quarter of an inch gap in between. And it is, my base paper is 12 by 12 white daisy. And I used all the Cape Cod paper, and I did this paper that I'm putting down right now is coordinating paper, Bluebird, which according to the catalog was a coordinating color that they used in the paper pack. So if you're wondering, how do I know if it's a coordinating color? Well, first off, you can look in the catalog as to what it says are coordinating colors. They also say on the zip strip, if you don't have the catalog nearby, you can look on the zip strip, and the zip strips on the top of the paper pack always say coordinating colors that they recommend or are utilized in the paper pack. So that's a little tip, a little tip to help you with coordinating your colors for the paper pack. It's really helpful to me if I want to pull in a paper or a cardstock or an ink or an embellishment that I want to utilize in this. So I used all the papers from this paper pack that we had, and then I wanted to pull in one cardstock. So there we go. And we got one more here. It's funny, this last piece, I wanted to have just the right angle, and if you would, images showing, and I probably cut this particular piece probably 4 times before I had it just the right way. Just a little OCD about that, maybe. Some people probably didn't care as much, but I cut this last piece probably 4 times. So there we go. There's the other way on the Cricut if you have the Cricut and you're able to do that. So this particular piece, Lagoon, another coordinating color from this paper pack, that's a 9 by 9, and then the driftwood, I cut that is an 8 3/4 by 8 3/4. And then, so these little pieces, coordinating, I ended up picking Glacier. It didn't say it was a coordinating color, but I felt like it worked really well. I cut those a quarter of an, no, eighth of an inch bigger than a 3 by 3. So it's 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. So that were just barely bigger than the photo place here. Could I have done those a 4 by 4? Yes, I could have, but I wanted enough room. As you can see in the example that we're following them, I wanted enough room for all these clusters. So that way I had enough room to see the picture, but also have plenty of room to do all the embellishments like they show here. So I liked the combination of the 3x3s. And as you can see, I utilized the thin cuts just like they did in the example. And I pulled in that blue bluebird as well, like I did in the background. So that's my idea how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and do some stamping. I'm utilizing these thin cuts, which coordinate with it. I'm going to use probably these two images, the coral and soaking up the sun, and these inks, Toffee, Glacier, and Lagoon. So let's go ahead and get all this stuff ready. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do my coral first. So I'm going to do a second generation stamping, which means I stamp off to the side and I'm kind of using the leftover ink in the background, so that you can see it, but it's just barely there. That's the idea of second generation stamping, and I'll show you what this kind of looks like here in a minute. And then I have 3 other corals. I'm going to do one in the glacier, so I have a lighter color, and then I'm going to do 2 in the lagoon. So they're almost the same color, just glacier's a little bit lighter than lagoon. And my thought process behind this is if you remember on the example, it was the Christmas, they had evergreens sticking out behind the title. So I'm kind of mimicking that idea, but I'm doing it with coral instead of evergreen for the Christmas trees. So really I'm just kind of doing exactly what they did on theirs, just instead of Christmas trees, I'm doing it with coral. So I'm not being original. I'm literally just doing exactly what they did on the example, just with the different medium. So don't make it sound like, I'm not recreating a wheel. I love these stamps. Look how cool the new Close to My Heart stamps are, where they're actually doing like a shading. It's a lot of the new stamps are like that, and I love it. Okay, so here, as you can see, is my second generation, where you can see the coral in the background, but it's just barely there. I love it. Second generation stamping is really cool. Okay, let's do our title. And I decided to do Soaking Up the Sun because it applies here in Florida. And I'm going to do it slightly more towards the top, so I have room for all those. So it's not quite centered is what I mean. And I have room to do all of my grouping, if you would, all of my embellishments, all my grouping. I do that a lot where I won't necessarily center it perfect, so I have room to make my cluster. All right, let's start placing all these things. Now, remember, this is personal preference. You play around with these things and you make it what looks good for you. Here's our stickers. I'm going to have them over to the side, so you're not necessarily going to see them, but you have them in front of you. So this is going to go here. I decided to pick the bluebird because I have it in the background. So you want to kind of coordinate your colors. You want to pull them from the different areas of your paper, so it all coordinates. You want enough so it's eye appealing, but not too many. Keep that in mind. Now I have my corals. Remember, I'm kind of mimicking the Christmas one on the catalog. So I'm going to kind of shove them in the background on the different layers of this title here, where they're sticking out so I can enjoy them, but it's not taking away from the title. So I'm going to kind of place them here first, see how I like them, and then pull them back on and put just enough glue to keep them in place. And I did them lagoon and then glacier and then lagoon for that visual aspect. Okay, once we got those done, we're going to start working on our upper left-hand corner, where as you see in the example, there are banners. So our sticker sheet actually already has some banners on there. Actually, there are several different options for us. So as you see on our layout, in our upper left-hand corner, we have those palm fronds. So we don't want to use the colors that are already on the palm fronds. So we don't want to use the one that is the teal. So we want to look at the ones that aren't teal. So we have the shell one, we have the driftwood one, and we have the striped one. So we want to use those three and layer them so we could utilize those colors and they'll stand out. If we use the teal one, then it'll just blend right in. So I decided to go ahead and do the driftwood one and the striped one and the blue one, so it pulls out those colors and it'll stand out against the teal that's in the paper with the palm frond. And I really like how those three work. And I just go ahead and put the whole thing down and line it up so I like the way it looks. And then you'll see that I just use my scissors and cut off all the extra. And that way I'm not worried about, oh shoot, I didn't have enough or whatever, and then I can just take that extra that's left over and put it right back on my sticker sheet. And that works really well for me. That way I don't have to worry about not having enough or whatever, and then just whatever's left over, stick it right back on my sticker sheet. And I actually have 2 banners left over that I can use for somewhere else. Okay. So now I get to decide where I'm going to put the other elements. I really like this seahorse. We actually do have seahorses here in Florida. We have by accident caught some while we've been fishing or been out on our friends' boats in the past. They are rare to find, but we do have them here in Southwest Florida, believe it or not. I have several photos of them in my photo gallery. So I like this little embellishment, but I didn't want all the extra white around it, so I decided to go ahead and turn it from a sticker into a die cut. So as you saw, I utilized my little pouch there, which has baby powder in it. And once you pounce that on there, it takes the sticky away and turns it into a die cut, if you would, instead of a sticker. And it makes it easy for you to take the excess off. And I'm just kind of fussy cutting around it and taking all that extra white off. I do this a lot if I don't want to utilize it as a sticker. And I'm very carefully taking all that excess white off around it. As you can see, I'm keeping my scissors nice and still, and I'm rotating the image around. Makes it easier to cut all that excess off. And then I'm going to kind of place it where I want it, and then I'm going to decide later to stick it down where I want it. I'm probably going to use 3D foam on this. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it yet. I'll play around with that, and then I'll adhere it later. Possibly over here. I want it to stand out. I don't want it to get lost in all that coral that I had down, since it's the same color. I obviously want to use some of these gorgeous wood pieces that I cut. I'm not sure which ones, but I like the idea of maybe some of these birds up here, up by my banner. Once again, I'm not going to adhere anything just yet. I'm just going to kind of place everything initially until I make my decision on everything. So we're just going to kind of play around with everything until my decision is made. I do this a lot where I'll kind of fiddle around with where I'm going to put things until I make a decision. Because, you know, sizing is important, and until you you like the way it looks, If it's not working for your eye, you're not sure. I'm not sure I like it, you know, and I also want to play around with a couple more of my stickers too. So let's look at these sticker sheet a little bit more. I know I want to put maybe a couple of my stickers. So it's not working for me just yet. I know I want to put like maybe one of my little shell stickers on there maybe. So I'm going to play around with that as well. Just not sure which one. So let's see. Maybe this one. I do like that. It's nice to have different levels of your items, like the wood with the sticker and the thin cuts. So that way you have a nice clustering. So see how I have the clustering of the thin cuts plus the sticker and the wood pieces all together. That's kind of nice. I kind of like that idea. Okay, so I think I'm gonna probably go with this right about here. Yeah, I think I like this here. I might even pull in maybe one more of these stickers. Might even utilize some of my 3D foam tape. That way I have that different layer of height. And if I put some on the back of this shell and I put it here, then I also have some more of that blue color, that blue bird color. I'm going to use my liquid glass. That works really well on the wood accents. It's a good liquid, but you could use any liquid glue on the back of these. You could also use your glue dots, whichever you prefer on those big bulky type accents. I'm just going to use my liquid glass. It's one of my preferred ways on these kind of accents. Just give it a minute or two to dry on there. But I'm going to utilize my 3D foam tape on that little blue shell and my seahorse here. The seahorse, I'm going to use several different spots. One on the head, maybe one or two on the body, and then one down on the tail. What I love about our 3D foam tape is that you can rip it or cut it the size that you need. You don't have to depend on certain sizes that they've already predetermined for you. So I love that about our 3D foam tape. And yes, I did say tear. You can actually tear the tape or cut it, whichever you prefer. So I'm gonna put this on this side. Oh, that's perfect. So I have that lagoon and glacier look on both sides with the coral and that seahorse. That looks awesome. I'm trying to decide, do I want to put maybe one more shell up here? No, I'm not sure I like that. Let's see, do I like this up here? Nope, that's actually the same shell as that's on the paper. Nope, I think I'm going to leave that alone. All right, let's glue my little guys up here on the top. What I love about all of this is that, like I said before, ladies, you can utilize your embellishments in any way that you see fit. You can put them in any way that you like, and there's no right or wrong way. Just make sure you're balancing your colors and you're utilizing your items the way you like. There's, like I said, there's really no right or wrong way. Um, I just, like I said, I like to balance my colors. I like to make sure that I have different levels. Like I said before, I have um, some of my stamping. I like utilizing some of my embellishments. I like to utilize some of my thin cuts, so that way you have that varying degrees. And what I love about these is that they have that clear sheet. So I'm just going to put a couple here and there as just a little extra added. Maybe one up here, one down there, maybe one over here somewhere. Not too many, just a couple here and there. Maybe one up at the top by my banners. And I think that'll do it. I think that's it. Not too many, like I said, just a couple here and there, just for a little sparkle. And there we have it. I think I'm happy with that. Just a couple here and there. And there's some close up for you so you can see. I love it. Look how great that turned out, ladies. A mimic of artwork from the catalog. There's the finished project. I absolutely love it. I hope you do too. I hope you were able to follow along and do one very similar. You could recreate this page over and over again, and I hope that you love how yours turned out. I would love to see if you guys are able to create maybe a second page to go along with it, a 2-page layout. I only did a 1-page, but I'd love to see maybe a 2-page layout, or maybe even a card. Oh my gosh, guys, make a 2-page layout, make a card. I'd love to see how creative you guys get with this project, and see what pictures you put on it. So I decided to go ahead and put some of my pictures from when me and my husband got to go on my incentive trip with Close to My Heart to Tahiti. So the first photo in the upper left-hand corner is when my husband and I, with a few of my friends, got to tour around Tahiti. That was on our little trip around the island. And the bottom left-hand photo is my husband Tony snorkeling in those crystal clear waters just outside our little hut. And then the upper right hand photo is me lounging on the beach with my cool little off-duty hat. And it's hard to see, but our little huts there off the water in the distance. So I just thought all 3 of these photos were a perfect representation of soaking up the sun while we were there, and I absolutely love all 3 of these. So to me, this was great for this layout, and I can't wait to see what you guys choose for your layout. So when you finish your layout, get those photos on there, and please make sure you post these photos and put them online, tag our group, or place in our group room. Show off your layouts. I want to see them, and so does everyone else. Show off your beautiful, beautiful work, because we all want to see it, and we enjoy it, and it gives inspiration to others as well. So guys, have a wonderful day, and show off your creativities, ladies.